Ladies and gentlemen, this is JoeJinMovieSoAwesome. I'm Joe.
I'm Won-Jin.
We're going to talk about House of the Dragon Episode 1. But before we do that today, I want to thank our 2 new subscribers. I was told that you guys are Won-Jin's friend. And privately, before our broadcast, he just told me that once we hit 10,000 subscribers, he will buy you guys each a new iPhone from his personal fund. Not from our fund, his personal fund. So you guys make sure you remember that. But anyway.
This is utter bullshit, by the way.
No, it's not.
I'm still willing to,
No, it's not.
Oh.
But anyway, spoilers alert. I hope you have watched House of the Dragon Episode 1. I know you guys probably heard of it, unless you're living under a rock. But major spoilers ahead for, and also Game of Thrones.
That's right.
Everything Game of Thrones, plus some of the book material, because I did read parts of the novels. So there will be spoilers. You have been warned. Won-Jin, I want to go first. Can I go first?
Okay.
I have something really I want to say.
Yeah.
Once I heard King Viserys say, "Don't make me choose between my sister and brother," right? My daughter and brother, right? And I was just like, I was waiting for the hand to say, "My king, that's not a problem. Make them marry each other." The problem solved. You guys do it all the time.
That's right.
I was like, show over.
We have aunt and nephew. Banging.
Yeah.
Why not?
If you don't know, the Targaryens like to marry each other to keep their pure blood. So I was like, problem solved. Because I did feel a certain sexual tension in that scene when we are introduced to Daemon Targaryen.
Yeah, and he presents Princess Rhaenys.
Yeah.
Rhaenys with that Valyrian steel-made necklace.
Yeah. Rhaenyra, I think. Rhaenys is her aunt by like a great aunt or something. But there was that a little bit tension. But what was awesome about this season, let's give our overall take first of all. It was definitely, we talked this privately, but it was definitely like you could tell the creators knew what the fans loved from Game of Thrones.
And also what they don't love.
From
all that backlash from the last season of Game of Thrones. I mean, there was a lot of backlash globally. I mean, we shit on season 8 all the time. So but I'm pretty sure they gave this a lot of thought.
Yeah, after watching it, the first line that came to my mind was Scorpion's "Get over here!"
Scorpion from Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, did you miss this? Do you like all these dragons? There are 2 dragons now. There's gonna be more. And then there's all this political intrigue. There's a tourney. Do you remember this from season 1 Game of Thrones? It's all here. And then
all the things you used to love, we got it.
And there's a 20-second gratuitous sex scene that I honestly don't think we needed. Just there.
Completely unnecessary.
Just there to show, just in case you like that too. So definitely they want us back. And I gotta be honest, I am hooked. I am intrigued, intrigued by this, there's definitely already, like the whole episode 1, you could say it's like political drama.
Yeah.
Right.
And for me, the last season of Game of Thrones was so bad that I lost all appetite for anything related to Game of Thrones. And even when this series was announced, I was not really interested. I'm like, do we really need this after doing that to Game of Thrones? But after watching the first episode, like you said, they have successfully enticed me into investing myself into the show.
And what I liked about it was, I do think there was a genuine effort to make sure this show reminded us of Game of Thrones, but they are also trying to do something new. And that's why I think the first episode is just so packed, and it's edited really well, because I didn't know, like, the time was flying by, but it felt really substantive. Because first of all, there's a lot of dramatic scenes for a first episode.
That's right.
A lot of dramatic scenes. It's like, not only the dialogue, but I feel like, and the dragons were there, but I feel like they're saving big battles for later, because the budget, it seemed the CG wasn't perfect. I felt like Game of Thrones season 7 and 8 had better CGs, but I'm guessing that's because they're holding off on like more epic scenes later that are coming. But in a short time frame, we get to know really quickly all the players that matters.
And also some of the intentions of these characters.
It's very clear what they want.
Yeah.
You know, I'm going to talk about the most fascinating character right off the bat, Daemon Targaryen.
Oh, yes.
You know, Won-Jin, you know what's weird? I got Better Call Saul vibe.
That's right.
Because there's already a brotherly thing going on.
And obviously the big brother doesn't hold his little brother in such a high esteem. He's basically branded as a troublemaker all the time.
No, but the interesting thing is though he defends him though.
I really like that dialogue from Daemon.
And Daemon is like Jaime and Tyrion combined into one.
Tyrion, I'm not sure yet, but I get this vibe that this guy is probably surprisingly intelligent.
No, but I think
pretty much based on like eavesdropping in the council and also making all this judgments based on what he had observed, and also he has that Jaime vibe because first of all he's in the first earlier season. I mean, in the early season, remember Jaime was hated by a lot of people.
He was smug.
He was not really likable
by the characters.
Yeah, right? And we get that similar vibe from him. But obviously, even in the first episode, he reveals a lot of charm to be liked.
No, but I think he also shows the vulnerability from that sex scene with his girlfriend. Right. Because what's interesting is, this season the dialogue is actually really subtle because we're already getting contradictory information from different characters.
Yeah.
The Hand says Daemon wants absolute power. Who doesn't want that, he says. But I think the king, despite Daemon calling him weak, the king is actually wiser than he seems. Because I think he was genuine when he said he's ambitious, yes, but he doesn't want the throne.
Yeah.
The vibe I got, the reason why I say Better Call Saul is the vibe I got from Daemon was that he wanted to be, like, he wants to hear his brother says, you can do it, you just don't want it.
That's right.
You know what I mean? Like, I think Daemon is sort of like, I just want you to hear me, tell me that I know you can be the Hand, I know you can be the king, but you don't want it. So it's okay. He wants that, but there are these other characters that obviously don't believe that Daemon is qualified.
And also, we see Daemon causing some controversy over the City Watch.
Right.
But all these people in the council, they shit on Daemon for doing it, but the brother, after all the discussions are over, he says that what he did was also quite necessary for the city, and he gives credit to what Daemon had done.
Yeah, and I like those scenes because right off the bat we can tell Otto, Hightower, and Daemon are saying "fuck you" to each other like multiple times. Fuck you! No, fuck you!
And I love the fact that continues in the tournament.
I know. Hey, I fucked up your son, and I'm gonna get this rose from your daughter. No, but like, what I loved about the show was also the crown lies heavy on the throne.
Oh, that's right.
Because I actually didn't think the king was weak.
And also, this is a little bit of a contrast compared to Game of Thrones.
Right.
In Game of Thrones, we don't really feel that weight of the crown.
Right.
Because we see Robert Baratheon just, eating shit all the time, going out hunting. And then we have Joffrey in the throne. And he seems to be not quite serious as he needs to be in making decisions and stuff. But in this case, we see the king hearing everybody out and carefully contemplating and making decisions.
Yeah.
And already in the first episode, we see that the throne is it's not something to be desired. Exactly.
You know that's so good. I would actually word it a little differently between Robert and Joffrey. Robert obviously doesn't want the job. He hates it. That's why he's drunk all the time, because he's in pain, whatever. And Joffrey, he just doesn't know what the fucking job is. He's a moron. But here, you can tell that he understands what he must do, but he's having a difficult time from it.
Yeah. And I also got that vibe that Viserys is actually a very wise, and also he takes the job very seriously in the way he talked to Rhaenyra, was it?
Yeah.
The princess?
Yeah.
As soon as he decides that she's to be the next heir to the throne. Remember like the secrets that he was passing down to Rhaenyra about the coming future,
The Song of Ice and Fire.
and the fight the mankind needs to have, and how they must all come together. That gives a lot of weight to the throne, like you said.
I think it makes it more complicated. What I mean by that is, so my question is, does that justify Targaryens' 100 years rule and genocide? Because the Targaryens themselves seem to be very aware of where their power comes from, especially Rhaenyra. Sorry we're getting the name pronunciation wrong. We know the spelling of it. It's just sometimes it's really confusing. So we'll get used to it. But because
Rhaenyra,
because she says that people say we're like the gods, but they only say that because of our dragons.
Yeah, and they think we think we control the dragons, but we're not.
That's what the father says. But I was kind of confused by that line, because after that he says, he kind of implies that the doom of Valyria was caused by dragons. So what does that, like, there's a mystery to that. I hope they answer that a little bit more, because remember from Game of Thrones and the novels, we actually don't know like how Valyria fell. We just call it the doom. There
was some cataclysmic event that brought an end to that advanced civilization. That's all we know.
Yeah. We do see Tyrion and Daenerys friendzone night go there, and then we see the ruins of the Valyrian Empire.
The friendzone night. I forgot his name.
Jorah Mormont.
Oh, Jorah Mormont. That's right, Jorah.
Yeah, this is the internet nickname he's got.
The protector of the friend zone.
Yeah. So like, but that's it. But I have mixed feeling about that, like being included in the first episode though, because either that means they're throwing everything in the episode 1, or there is going to be some more reveals come down the road. Oh, but one thing I did like was they referenced Targaryen history a lot.
Yeah,
I love that about the show. Like, because when Rhaenys, the queen that never was, says Maegor, because she's talking about the third Targaryen king, who was known as the cruel king, sort of a tyrant. So I think they're going to keep doing that and reference their own history. And that's always interesting, because I think they're going to give us a lot more lore that we were unaware in Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Because we're getting a lot of questions answered here too. Because we wanted...
Yeah, because in Game of Thrones we had so many houses and so many characters that needed focus. But in this case, this is the House of Dragon. I mean, House of the Dragon.
Yeah.
So we have a lot more time and I don't know. Okay, we have a lot more time allocated just to handle the Targaryen house and their history.
Yeah. So this is definitely more War of the Roses than Game of Thrones, because Game of Thrones is about different factions.
Yeah.
Like with obvious like different like beliefs, different like how they raise. But here it's like how's the English Civil War, where basically like family members fought each other until it lasted so long that they changed their name. And here you can already see that happening. And
that's surprisingly quick, because remember, this is just the first episode.
My least favorite character already is Otto Hightower. Like, because Tywin actually I love to hate, but Otto, I don't know. Like, I don't know, we'll have to see his side more though. The best thing about Game of Thrones was that we got to see everyone's perspective, right?
That's true.
That's why we get to love Jaime later on the show, because of his redemptive arc.
And it's one of the reasons why we understand Tyrion shooting his father.
Yeah. Oh man, that's season 4 was the best, wasn't it? Like I got a lot of season 4 vibes here, because but that being said, I also want to see dragon fights though. You said that you want to see.
Yeah, I wanted to see some like crazy skills that we haven't seen.
No, but don't you think that's coming? Like,
I think it's coming.
They're definitely hinting at that. Like, 'cause they already have 2 dragons, and we see the dragon pit, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I love how much they speak Valyrian too. I love how
the uncle Daemon and his niece talking in Valyrian.
Yeah, that reminded me a lot of Dune, where they have their own secret language, right? Because this is the royal family, so you assume that they have their native tongue that they only speak to each other, which is already a power move.
Yeah.
But, yeah. Oh, and Daemon cutting off a rapist's dick was old school just.
That's right. And I was thinking, okay, rapist, murderer, thief. I was like, okay, so, I mean, maybe it's a little too harsh, but it's completely justifiable. I was thinking
it's medieval
and
times.
and when they were having all that discussion the day after, and Daemon references the tournament, is like, yeah, we have all these people coming into the city. You really want them to be afraid? I was like, that makes a lot of sense.
Won-Jin, you're too civilized. You don't even need to say that. This is a country where trial by combat is legal.
Yeah, that's right.
Let these two men fight to death.
Yeah.
And so
this guy's a rapist. He raped women against their will. So why not chop his penis off?
Yeah.
I'm like, okay.
There's no trial, but that's just anyway. That was interesting. That's showing his character though, because that reminded me of Jaime killing a lot of Stark men. You know how he was really brazen about it.
Yeah.
And he was really cocky to not Robb Stark, his father, Eddard Stark, Ned Stark too. There's a lot of that, but unlike Jaime, we do get his like self-reflective side right away. Because I love the fact that he loves his family. Because when the king is completely traumatized, it's Daemon who tells his niece that you have to do this. This is your duty. And then Rhaenyra says, you know, I hope my father was happy. And then I felt that.
Yeah.
The actress totally sold that scene. And then she says that line that we all know, Dracarys. Yeah.
I also liked when Daemon was having that dialogue with his brother.
Favorite
in front of the throne. Yeah. And what did Viserys say? He said something, and Daemon answers, because I'm your brother.
No, like the king. Let's break it down. The king says, "I have done everything through you. You have no allies but me. All I did was defend you, and then you spit it in my face. And before that, he says, "Did you say it, heir of the day? My family is broken."
Everybody mourns in their own ways.
But Daemon I could tell he was too honest for his own good. Because I felt like he's one of those bad boys, who I don't think he was actually celebrating the death. I think he was, and I love Daemon's hype man. Murderer! Rapist! Shut the fuck up! I want to know that guy.
Wait, isn't that the same dude who said silence in the whorehouse?
Yeah. He's the one. Your prince speaks! I love the hype man. Like, that casting was perfect. I love him. He does murderer! Because we all need a hype man like that.
Yeah, this is like Little John.
Yeah. I love that guy. But anyway, Daemon says a lot of things he shouldn't have said. He said, because you're weak. Why haven't you chosen me as a hand? And then Viserys says, hand? I have an honest good man. And he's like, they're all fucking leeches.
Yeah, they're leeches. They're exploiting your weakness and blah, 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 blah. They all serve their own interest and intentions.
And he's a smarter version of Ned Stark. Though.
Yeah.
Because Ned Stark was also honest to a fault.
But he was too naive to see the cruel intentions. Yeah, he. I think he's kind of like let's look at our own history. It's kind of like Neville Chamberlain when he met Hitler.
Oh, interesting.
It's like, yeah, my goodwill and my good intentions, my benevolence will be reciprocated. Oh. Yeah, bullshit.
Oh. That's interesting. No, but you bring up a good point because this is definitely historical drama almost with a fantasy element because Won-Jin and I we did think about putting the title as War of the Roses right off the bat, but I think we need more details though because we still don't know who the players are though.
Yeah,
all we know is that there's incredible tension around the king of who the heir will be, but we just don't know like because we can tell that everybody remember like Tyrion's line to Cersei when he's named like. Name hand of the kings, and then our enemies hate each other as much as they hate us. That's a very powerful line. Here you can already tell each people have different beef. Yeah, like they.
And we're not exactly sure what, but we can clearly tell they have their own agenda.
Exactly.
I can tell that from remember the tournament scene, and while the queen is giving birth. All this like word is spreading among the members of the family, and you can kind of tell that these people are on their edge, even though they're like being entertained at the same time. So we can tell that depending on the heir, I mean whether the newborn is a son or a daughter or if whatever happens, they have a lot at stake
Okay, now that you mentioned that, we have to talk about that birth scene first.
That was. This, I think, for me, this was the shock element that the Game of Thrones first episode had. Remember at the end, Jaime and Cersei, they were having their happy time in the Watchtower or something, that little tower, and they push Bran out of the window.
Yeah.
That was the shock element. For me, this scene was the shock element. It's like, oh my god, is he gonna do it?
And you know, this scene was shot so well because the tournament is I felt like the tournament was what the lords were thinking inside, because there's a battle already going on.
Yeah.
But also, the queen did say that our royal room is our battlefield, so it is a direct reference to that. But I loved the scene is so well seen because the moment the king, first of all, the king had bad choices. He had only two choices.
Yeah.
They could all die,
or you can at least save one.
which is, you could tell that he's a good man, but the duty weighs heavy on him. And I love how the moment the queen loses her agency, they remove the pillow. Because she's no longer a queen. Because she was comfortable, right?
Yeah.
And then they pull her down, and then the pillow is removed.
Yeah.
And she's basically in that fog position. And then I was shocked that they actually show us some bits of...
Yeah. And that blood just pouring out, that was just brutal.
Yeah.
That was some, like, alien moment.
That really was. Well, I don't know if that's appropriate. But I know what you're trying to say. That was really violent.
Yeah, disturbing.
Yeah, yeah. There we go. Yeah.
It was disturbing for me.
Yeah, because I love that they didn't show the whole thing too. They made us imagine it. They show the incision, and then they shoot the stomach protrusion from the back.
Yeah.
So it's this lingering feeling of. And then they named the child Balon, and then he dies.
That was also another shock. The fact that it dies after a few hours, because and I like the way how they were subtle about it, because we realize that the baby's dead through that scene in the what's it called, Pyrex? Well, no, not Pyrex is the glass. What's that called?
What?
You know how they stack that wood. To give it the funeral.
Oh, the funeral pyre.
Oh, pyre. That's right,
Yeah.
pyre. When that little baby is also wrapped along with the mother.
Yeah.
That's when I realized, oh my god, is the baby dead?
It's kind of like we're kind of confused, right? Because the baby breathes, and then it breathes heavily, and the maester's face is really bad. But my favorite scene was afterwards. The small council gathers, and the king is like, "What the fuck is this for?" And then they're like, "We need to choose your heir." And then they all voice their opinion, right?
Yeah.
And then I love Paddy. I forget his last name. His actor's brilliant. His acting. You motherfuckers! Fuck you!
My wife and my son are dead.
And you fucking crows. No, because it's like, you could tell the king is no fool because he knows exactly what's going on. And they're all
trying to secure their position.
Yeah. And they're not even, I guess they're trying to be subtle about it.
Yeah.
And they say all this bullshit. And then you could tell the king, like, I felt his pain. The acting was so good. He was like, fuck you. Yeah. And then, like, if it was Joffrey, it would be like, they're all dead.
He would all, like, shoot them with a crossbow.
Yeah. And all the small council scenes were better than the ones with Robert, because that was usually Robert shouting out orders.
Yeah.
But here, like, there's a really political element. I love his fight with Otto Hightower. We named him Master of Laws, and you said no.
Yeah, it was your solution.
Yeah.
And now you're complaining about it?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Basically, that's what he's saying.
Yeah. I mean, that doesn't come off as indecisive. It comes off as, like, because remember, like, the very first scene is his, like, grandfather choosing an heir in front of the whole, like, Harrenhal. That gave me Lord of the Ring vibes, by the way. I love that. Like, there's like an ancient history that we didn't know. I was hoping there would be like 3 dragons there. Don't fuck with the king. You're all here. We can burn you alive. But I love that.
It was very efficient, that scene. As an exposition.
It was so good. And I love that the narration is Rhaenyra growing up.
Yeah.
Like, that was a nice touch. But back to the issue at hand, like, the show already tells us how hotly like difficult succession is, because his grandfather had to bring all the lords to vote, and here the question of heir is just so heavy, and we can tell that the first season is everything is going to be about succession, everything, like,
and we can tell that we're going to have a very shaky start.
Already
already from what has happened, we can tell that it's going to be very shaky because remember, the king and all the people around him, they were very hesitant about a girl being an heir,
right?
So against all odds, Rhaenyra has a lot of things to prove, and also based on what the Hightower said to his daughter and what he did, I was like, is he pimping out his daughter?
That's exactly what he's doing.
I was like, what? Comfort him in his chambers? So we can clearly tell like what he's intending. He's going after the throne.
He wants to be Tywin basically, because Tywin does that with Cersei. Like because he has no rights to become a king, and it's a very, very medieval politics thing going on here. But I also love the best subtle part is when Rhaenyra is actually named the heir, that Baratheon or strong guy, he hesitates before he kneels. That small detail. You can tell that
he's not really happy about it.
Exactly. And you could already tell that it's not a blessed affair. And also a lot of the ominousness comes from the king actually being stabbed by the throne.
The throne, it keeps hurting him.
And I loved how like the maester said, like you know how like the king's body, like there's a body politic to it. You know how in ancient times, like king being hurt meant there could be disaster, but it's really, really there. Like, because the moment he banishes Daemon, he's stabbed.
By the throne.
And I think that's sort of a subtle thing that like family divided. A family divided is.
And like you said, these small details, this is what gives brilliance to the show. Remember, one of the reasons why I love The Sopranos is also these little details. Remember when Chris Moltisanti gets made, becomes a made man? Remember that little crow that flies by the window and stares into his ceremony? That was also very ominous.
That's good.
For some shows, it's completely skippable and unnecessary, but it's these details that matter.
No, Won-Jin, that's such a good point, but I want to go one more step beyond that. The reason why we like this is because it's in the family. You know how, like this HBO Succession series is very visceral because it's family against family. And my favorite scenes in Game of Thrones was when the Lannisters was fighting each other. You know, because what can family do? Family can hurt you the most. Because they know about you.
That's right. That's such a good point. Because remember, we talked about season 4 of Game of Thrones. That was like one of the most climactic moments in the entire series.
See, what's beautiful about that is the Lannisters are seemingly victorious, but there's all this family tension. And the way Tywin talks to his children, that's not an employer like criticizing an employee, because that's just a job. Here it's emotional damage.
That's right.
You're my daughter, and you will fucking give me a child, first of all. And to Tyrion, I wish you were never born. You killed your fucking mother. You're a piece of shit whorehouse, like whatever. And then the way he treats Jaime, you fucking moron. I tried to make you heir, but you fucking won't listen.
Now you got the brilliant nickname, King Slayer, dumbass.
At least he doesn't make fun of the hand. But here, like, the Targaryens already, like, you can tell, like, family on family violence is gonna hurt a lot. Because see, like, anybody besides Daemon who talked to the king like that would have been dead. And I think part of them love each other because the first thing King says, if you fucking, I'll cut your tongue out. But we as an audience, we already kind of know that he's not going to do that. Like, we can tell that there's like a love-hate thing going on there.
It's like, yo, brother, I'm not playing around here.
That's what the translation.
Cut the bullshit. Let's get straight to the point. Did you say that or not? Because I'm very upset.
That's what he was trying to say. I will have them cut your tongue off. Damon's like, no, you're not. Because that's how brothers talk, right? I'm gonna fucking kill you, but you know you're not gonna kill me.
Yeah, if you want to watch a movie called Step Brothers, if you touch my drum set, I'll fucking stab you with a knife. And then he teabags the drum set.
Yeah. And you can also tell Daemon's love for his brother is real because, you know, the interesting thing about the small council scene was that there was a hidden wall, and Daemon's listening in.
Yeah.
And every time Otto speaks, he looks like he just chewed on a cockroach. But every time his brother speaks, he smiles. Because I think the king is an honest man. He's very honest. And then he was, like, you could tell that Daemon was, like, kind of like, my brother knows me a little. Yeah. And they know each other. And that's why it hurts. But I do think the brother tension is going to escalate, though.
Yeah. Because we judging from Game of Thrones, we know that this is going to end up in a tragedy.
I don't know if they'll fight directly, but like it's like Better Call Saul. Like it's not that you intend to hurt the person; it's the situation around you.
It's just the situation that drives you towards hurting your brother and your family.
A lot of intention, yes, but like also mistranslation, because we have such little patience for our family's flaws.
You mentioned this last time when we talked about the last episode of Better Call Saul. Had they spoken, you know, like 2 or 3 more sentences, had they had just a little longer conversation, they could have avoided a lot of that conflict.
Yeah, because you know, the king can say. But then again, that also reminded me of Robert, because you know how Robert and Ned talked, and Robert's like, and Ned's like, you're too fat for your fucking armor, and then Robert's like, oh fuck, you're right, and they could have an honest conversation though, because when Rob was considering like poisoning Daenerys Targaryen, Dennis like, fuck you. He's like, he throws the badge. This shit is worthless to me. And Robert's like, get over here. I'll kill you. Fuck you. And Ned already knows that he's not going to do it. But they get to have a heart to heart. I felt like that was kind of missing.
Yeah.
Because I think the king is just weighed down by his responsibility. Because remember, when he actually names her heir, Rhaenyra says, you haven't spoken to me a word since mother died.
Yeah.
And then you call me down here. And then he just throws this huge responsibility. But like you said, that does add gravitas to it, though. Because the Targaryens having power is more than... It's like a responsibility thing. It's not just a greed thing. But there is a greed thing going on there.
But it's a little different from the Lannisters.
Right. Maybe because like we said before, Rhaenyra says they love us because of our dragons. Like, one thing we learned from Game of Thrones is that there isn't any such thing as legitimacy. It's all made up. Because remember what Jorah says? No one cares who the fucking king is. The peasants don't care. And then it's just because Aegon was the conqueror. He had dragons. And so we are getting multiple POVs here.
Yeah.
That was what was great about Game of Thrones, right? And here, oh man.
And also, I gotta talk about some of the cast. I love, I forgot his name in the show, but remember the bald knight dude who's always by Rhaenyra's side?
Yeah. He's in Witcher.
Yeah, he's in Witcher, and he's also in I first saw him in Rambo, The Last Blood. He's like the SAS mercenary. He's like a badass, like a Scottish.
Yeah.
He was also in The Hobbit, remember?
Right, he's one of the dwarves.
He's the one who says shit to the Thorin, was it?
The king, yeah.
I've never thought lower of you. That's what he says. Like when he's like obsessed over the gold and shit.
Oh, yeah.
I've never thought lower of you.
Yeah. Because I think he can play villain and good guy. I think he's playing a good guy here.
Yeah.
Like, at least a loyal guy. Like, what?
Sir Barristan Selmy.
Oh, yeah. There we go.
He's old, but he's very loyal. He's very competent.
He's definitely protective of the royal family.
And also has some wisdom to share from time to time.
Yeah. Because Barristan Selmy was one of my favorite characters in Game of Thrones.
I was so sad when he died from those harpy motherfuckers.
yeah, those.
I was like, no, that's not the way he should go.
Those medieval Ku Klux Klans.
Yeah, these cowards.
Yeah. Because one of his favorite, like, he was such a great like rival to Jorah in a way. Not rivals, because I don't think Barristan Selmy cares for political power that much, but he was definitely that. But here, we can already tell the Rhaenyra definitely needs some counseling. Yeah, like from like wise people in the family and their allies,
people who can trust.
Yeah.
I mean, who she can trust.
I do think she can trust Daemon though. I do feel like Daemon's rebellion is sort of an act. It's not like a real usurper thing. He will be loyal to the Targaryen family bloodline. Yeah, because that's everything to them, right? And
I have this feeling that except for Daemon, everybody else is gonna try to stab Rhaenyra in the back.
But she could be an ally too, though. That queen that never was.
Oh,
because she's obviously a Targaryen. Because I'm so glad that they did such a good job on showing the silver hair. Because silver hair implies that you're either a Targaryen or you come from the old world. Yeah. And I have to assume that most of them will probably be allies. But I think the scenario they're going for is Rhaenyra's friend, like she's gonna marry the king. I feel like,
and things are gonna be complicated.
Yeah.
And she will bear a child, a son, and he's gonna be born, and things are gonna get messed up. We see a lot of this happen in our actual history. Right. If anybody knows about the Korean history, like the Joseon dynasty, Seonjo. There was a king named Seonjo. He had the same problem.
No, and
he got remarried, and then he has a son, and then things get complicated.
Yeah, and remember the trailers. There are. I think we talked about. There are way more white hairs than we see now, because there's an adult version of Rhaenyra, right? So there's going to be a time jump. So which means they're gonna pop more Targaryen children, and that's so interesting though. Like. So every Targaryen is going to ride a dragon, and we're going to get that fight you wanted.
But we will probably see civil war, and we're going to see Targaryens fight Targaryens. Because remember, it's nothing new. We've seen this in Game of Thrones.
Right.
What's his name? Our favorite.
Who? Stannis the Man?
Stannis the Man. That's right. Stannis Baratheon and his brother. What was his name?
Robert. His younger brother.
Yeah.
The guy who loves sword sticks.
What was his name?
There are three brothers, right?
Yeah.
There's Robert,
Stannis,
Renly
Baratheon. That's right. Remember they used to fight each other?
Yeah. The stags fight each other.
Yeah, they fought each other, and Stannis using that witches. Yeah. That ghost thing kills Renly.
That black magic.
Yeah, the black magic
that he confirms to. What was it? Brienne right away? Did you use blood magic to kill your brother? Yes. No. Right away. It's so refreshing to hear somebody say something honest right off the bat. Any last words, sir? Go on, do your fucking business.
We can tell. We talked about this. We can clearly tell that Stannis has a lot of stories to tell, but he just can't be bothered.
Yeah. Whatever. All right, hon. Do your fucking job. Whatever.
But yes, we've seen families kill family members kill each other. So maybe we'll see that in this season.
No, but they're already also setting up a small war because of what Sea Snake says. Sea Snake says they're forming a triarchy and threatening the shores. Yeah. So I think that's the setting, because in the trailers we see a guy with like a crab mask or something. So I think that motherfucker's the leader of that shit. And Targaryens show their power through dragons, right? Like, because I like that about them, because like Daenerys, as soon as she got dragons, every time she wants to do a power move, here you go, left, right.
You want some dragon? Here's a fucking dragon. How about 3?
You like that? Take that. Who's your queen? And then I don't like season 7 and 8, but I do like some of the scenes. I love it when Daenerys like this, and you have a choice. You can follow me, or be free, whatever. And then there's a dragon right behind. Like they have a choice.
Yes.
Yeah.
My favorite. I think a lot of people's favorite scene would be like the moment, those merchants are trying to make her abdicate her
season 6.
Yeah, it's like, go back to the beggar queen that you are.
Yeah.
Your reign is over, and then we can see the dragon actually like flying towards them, like in the background.
Yeah, and Daenerys does this power high eye and says, "My reign is just beginning."
And then we hear that dragon.
Yeah.
And I love how the dragon's like first landing on the top of the hill, and then he jumps down. It's like, what the fuck's up? Boom.
Yeah.
But, that's the scene we loved.
Oh, now that you mentioned that, I want to talk about the dragon designs, though. I like how they kind of... This is my feeling, but they felt like avatars to their master. Like the feeling, right?
Oh.
Because that red dragon, he looks fucking violent as fuck. He doesn't look happy at all.
Yeah.
Like Craxes, is it? And
Caraxes.
Yeah,
Caraxes.
And then the Syrax, the dragon that Rhaenyra rides, is very elegant. Like even the color is kind of beautiful.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that Daemon's dragon looks batshit crazy. Like he looks like he likes to do some damage.
Yeah, and you could tell that. I think it's also hinted. I mean, the character of the dragon could be hinted from the way Daemon fought in the tournament. Oh, 'cause remember he does not. I mean, in order to win, he will not refrain from breaking the rules or playing a little dirty all the time.
But he sure got mad when that other guy hit him in the back.
Yeah, and I also kind of love that how he accepted his defeat in the end. Because I was kind of like expecting him to stab him in the back or something. Oh, I thought he would, because of his pride and getting that bruise on his pride, it's unacceptable for him, and he's gonna do something horrible to the guy who beat him. What was it, Sir Cole? Yeah,
with no renown.
Yeah, but eventually he just accepts the defeat. When he's like holding him to bring up, he's like, "Fuck that! Yeah, I'm just gonna stand on my own." And he just takes it.
Yo, now that you bring Sir Cole. Whenever the show says of no renown, a low family, that gives me a Littlefinger vibe. I already don't trust that guy. I don't like that guy. I don't like the way he's looking at Rhaenyra and Alicent Hightower. Who should I fuck to get power? Like,
gotta love Littlefinger.
Yeah,
he's one of the longest survivors.
Because this show is always about the underdog, right? And that guy already has like underdog vibe.
And what did he say? Chaos is a ladder.
Yeah.
And chaos is coming.
Yeah, when there's chaos, you got motherfuckers like Cole jumping up.
You gotta grab what you can.
Yeah, but I also like Daemon in that he's a Matt Smith killed the role. I have a slight different take from you when he like accepted his defeat. It's like one of those defeats that doesn't count. Like that fuck you face. Yo, whatever. Fuck off. It didn't feel like a humble defeat. I was like, like he throws his knife like, bitch. Because he's a prince.
And wait to meet me in real battle when my dragon fucks you up.
Oh, but I feel like he doesn't even need his dragon though, because I thought that was kind of showing that he was a skilled swordsman.
He's got some prowess.
Yeah.
In terms of in terms of combat. This is what gives us the Jaime Lannister vibe.
Right.
Because Jaime was one of the finest swordsmen until he lost one of his hands.
Right. Jaime also had now that you mention it, maybe he's not Tyrion, because I should maybe take that back, because Tyrion, now that we're talking about it, he's more about political astuteness, right? He has a sharp tongue, but Jaime's actually the one that's really insulting to others. Because Jaime has a way of like insulting people right in their face without actually any political advantage. Unlike Tyrion, because he saves it for the badass line. I'm not saying I respect you, whatever. I have nothing for you, but get the fuck out. Like, it's like a victory speech. So I guess Daemon is a hothead, proud, and possibly smart too, because he definitely sees through people, right?
Yeah.
Because I kind of have to agree with Otto Hightower being a cunt, possibly in this perspective. But you have to ask yourself, though, this is what I like about Game of Thrones, though. Like, Otto Hightower, I think a guy like that is needed, though, to manage the kingdom. Because I like that scene after the wife dies. The king is doing nerd stuff, making, like, silly castles.
Yeah, he's working on his little model.
Yeah.
That also reminded me of the Sopranos.
Oh.
Remember Bobby, what's his name?
Oh, yeah.
The guy who plays with trains. Yeah, that's what happens.
Yeah, but the hand is busy writing letters like Tywin did. And Jaime's first line in season one of his first lines was the king shits. The hand wipes. Yeah. That's like the showing of like the emperor and the counselor role. And obviously, like Otto Hightower is busy as fuck.
Mm-hmm.
But another thing is, I do want to get to know the small council members better, though.
Yeah.
Remember that's what happened in Game of Thrones, right?
Mm-hmm.
Season 1, we get introduced to everybody.
Yeah, and then we get to figure out what kind of people they are, like the Maester and what's his name.
That strong guy.
Yeah, and also that scientist guy and all these guys.
But I do like how they seem really competent at their jobs, though. Unlike the first Game of Thrones, where I don't know.
It seems like they don't really deserve that position. Some
possibly,
of them, possibly. And they just enjoy the like being in power.
Yeah, but here I do feel like these guys are like uber version of the original small council, because you have to assume that except the Maester, they all come from powerful houses. Even the guy we know the least about, that guy who sat next to Daemon, Sir Strong or like Lord Strong or whatever. Maybe he's the one that opposed Rhaenyra becoming heir. Maybe we shouldn't break 100 years of precedent of it. And then as soon as Sea Snake says, "Hey, my wife's Targaryen," he's like, "Fuck that!" It's like right away, trying to shoot it down.
I knew you were gonna say that.
Yeah. She's a woman too, bitch. No, but I already like that character though, because I love that actress. Like, what's her name? Eve something? No, because you can tell that she's a badass woman already. Like, cause
kind of reminds me of the what were they? I forgot all the names.
Lord Tyrell, Lady Tyrell.
Oh, Lady Tyrell. That's Olenna Tyrell.
Yeah,
that lady. She was badass.
Yeah.
Although she was old.
Yeah, Game of Thrones was really good at showing that the world was patriarchy, but the noble women actually, depending on their ability to do political maneuvering, has power. Because House Tyrell was basically run by Olenna Tyrell, like grandmother. Like, my son is a fucking idiot. Come here, here's some lemon cakes. Tell me about my future son.
And she also went out strong. It's like, I killed your son.
Hey, Jamie, fuck that. I killed your son, baby. And you're giving me anesthesia. Clean
You're giving me clean death?
Yeah. That's so nice of you.
Make sure you tell Cersei that I did it.
Yeah, you're giving me clean death, but I fucked up your son so bad that he had holes everywhere. So, anyway, I guess our subscribers can tell that we really enjoyed the show.
It started off very strong,
how
solid.
much we're talking about.
Yeah, and a lot to expect.
Any flaws though, Won-Jin? Anything you thought maybe needs more explaining or didn't like?
I can't really think of much.
Yeah, it's too early to say that, right?
I think there was nothing that really bothered me. So I mostly liked everything about the show.
Yeah, really, because we get so much information from one episode, and I can't believe there's gonna be like 9 of these more. Like they're definitely gonna show them growing up. I guess you know what I liked about this episode is you can tell that HBO went, I don't care about season 2 right now. I want season 1 to be perfect. And if you have to make it short or long, fuck. Because I think one of the reasons why Game of Thrones, the original, fell is because maybe they got a little too ambitious.
Yeah.
And if you put too much pressure on creators, that I don't think that's necessarily good for the show. You know, and despite us shitting on season 7 and 8, I think book adaptations can be hard too.
That's true.
So what was their name again? Dan and I think so. I think the show running job is a very difficult job. But here, but the marketing was really funny. I like how they keep trying to put George R. R. Martin in there. We're listening to him. Hey, come here.
The original creator.
Yeah,
of
you're
the entire
part
world.
of it, sir. He shared his wisdom with us, and. I think we talked about this the last podcast because one thing this show can benefit is I was surprised at how good the dialogue is.
Yeah.
Despite there not actually being a fiction, that means they put their life in that show. Because part of the reason why season 7 and 8 feels so bad is because of the dialogue.
Yeah, horrible dialogue.
Yeah, and there are long scenes of no dialogue in those seasons. If you remember, that's why we don't like it. But here. There's dialogue everywhere. Everyone's so smart. Yeah.
And also, I think it's the attempt to make it overly dramatic that eventually backfired.
Oh, that's actually good. Good. Because here's a good detail. Like that Ellison Hightower girl keep chewing on her
oh, she's like
yeah.
showing this like compulsive behavior.
Yeah. That means
because we can clearly tell that she's nervous.
Yeah, she's under stress, and we kind of speculate that's from her father. Because like my question was, okay, if this guy will pimp his daughter out, he probably told her to become friends with Rhaenyra, like daughter, right? And that could be like because it's really weird is that he wants her to be heir, the daughter, and there's an ulterior motive to that there. There's nobody is genuine here, except maybe Daemon. Daemon's crime is being too genuine. You're fucking weak, brother. Try to kill me now. Anyway,
no sugarcoating.
Yeah, maybe some sugar is needed. Some sugar is needed. But anyway, we really enjoyed this episode. Let's not give a grade yet.
Yeah, it's too early to tell.
Yeah.
So maybe we'll have to see up until maybe about like 3 episodes or something.
Yeah. But Game of Thrones fans in me, I'm going to be honest, give this a 10 out of 10. Because I had a fucking great time. I'm going to be honest, I watched it 2 times in a row. It was just the mixture of dramatism and the dialogue and some shocking scenes. And the production value. What the fuck? It's like season 4 levels of like budget already. Possibly more CG.
We can clearly see that compared to the first episode of Game of Thrones, this has obviously a much larger budget.
Yeah. Anyway, that's our take on the first episode of House of Dragon. Did you like it? If you liked it, please leave a comment and share it with us. And if you like our podcast, please press like and subscribe. And we'll see you in about 10 minutes. And we're going to talk about the entire season of Sandman.
We'll be right back.
Ba-dum-bum-bum.